Australia's Matildas are the first female team in world football to be guaranteed equal pay to their male counterparts. The FFA revealed the new collective bargaining agreement today, which will see the men's and women's national teams paid equally from a pool of money based on the game's total revenue. Jo Fernandes is Strategic Projects Manager at Football New South Wales and a former manager of the Matildas, and she joins me now. Great to see you, Jo.
Thank you.
What will this deal mean for the Matildas themselves?
For the players themselves, it means that they'll be able to train and prepare full-time for their football career. When I was Matildas manager, so I was manager for 13 years, from 2000 to 2013. When I first started, there was no pay at all. So they all had to work, or many of them studied as well. And so in that 13 years, I did see progression in pay. We did start to pay the team, and then the pay started to go up. But this level of payment now will mean that the players can dedicate themselves full-time to football, and that will just improve the quality of the football. It means they'll be able to treat their injuries more better, rest and recover from matches, and really be full-paid professionals.
What do you think it means for women's football more generally, especially if we take it in conjunction with the recent broadcasting deal, which will see women's games broadcast on the ABC as well? Do you think the Matildas are, as a consequence of both of these decisions taken together, likely to gain a bigger following?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm so pleased that the Matildas are pretty much a household name now. Names like Sam Kerr and Elise Kellen-Knight, I mean, they're household names now. And, you know, don't want to go too much into history, but when I started, it was quite difficult for the Matildas to get media and publicity, whereas now they're on everybody's lips. So certainly the more TV, the more times they can be seen on TV, the more games they can play, and now that they're fully professional, they will be able to play those games. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic for the sport, and I really need to acknowledge the pioneers of the game as well. A few weeks ago we had the 40-year anniversary of the Matildas, and it was so good to see some of the current Matildas and some of the Matildas from that our first squad mingling at lunch and sharing stories. And I think it's really valuable for the current crop of players to acknowledge that the players back then really, they had to pay to play, and they did it for the love of the sport. And the current players definitely love the sport, but now they're being rewarded financially as well.
Do you think it will influence the international competition, or other national teams simply going to have to pay their players more to keep up with the Matildas?
There's been a movement worldwide, and certainly in some countries like the US at the moment are going through a court case with regards to pay. There are some European nations who have moved in that direction as well. At the Women's World Cup final in France, when the US won, the crowd started chanting equal pay, and so it was really, you could tell that the mood is out there and the public are supporting the players for them to finally earn equal pay.
And it was the Socceroos who unanimously voted for this pay deal, in the process cutting their own salaries. They're being hailed today as male champions of change. Do you endorse that phrase?
Absolutely, and really congratulations to everyone involved. Obviously the Matildas players, the Socceroos players, Football Australia and the PFA for working on this deal together and for the outcome today. But certainly, yes, the Socceroos have had to give a little bit, but I think they're aware that this is for the good of the game overall.
And are there other benefits to this deal? Do you think it's going to promote greater participation in sport for girls? Because we know that quite often girls do give up sport before boys do.
I think when girls can see their role models and see them running around and they're much more visible, it's that old saying, you can't be what you can't see. So of course that's going to encourage girls. But just as importantly, I think it's important to encourage the young boys as well. So young kids, boys and girls, are going to see women at the elite level running around playing football and other women's sport, and they're not going to know any different. They're going to grow up seeing elite athletes, men and women.
The World Surfing League is now offering equal prize money for men and women surfers. What sport's next?
Well, football, for me, is my main sport, so it's really hard for me to comment on other sports. But I think there is growing momentum in a lot of sports out there, and I just think it's great for women's sport overall to be finally given the recognition and the financial rewards that they deserve.
Jo Fernandes, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.